What up guys, this is Monkey Figure Reviews, and today I am very excited because we are doing something special for the first time on this channel. We will be doing an Ichiban Kuji showcase on the WT100 Memorial Eiichiro Oda Draws the Great Pirate 100 Views Ichiban Kuji series. So this Ichiban Kuji set is based on this drawing done by Oda. That shows some of the top popular characters from the WT100 poll last year. And this is the first time I have the whole Ichiban Kuji sets here, from the big prizes like the figures to the small prizes. And for that, I would like to thank Genesis Frontier, Ichiban Kuji Singapore and Malaysia fan page, as well as Chronicles Inc. for making this happen. So in this video, what we'll be doing is introducing all of these individual prizes in this Kuji set. We will not be going in depth into the details and reviews, especially for the figures, because it's a lot to go through. But hopefully at the end of it, you can still get a clear picture of what you can win from this Ichiban Kuji. First up, we have Prize K History Clear File Sets. These are A4 size files where you can put your papers, your documents inside. But if you do not wish to use them for their intended purposes, I'm pretty sure we can be creative. We might be able to use this as backgrounds for some of our figure displays. I think it will look good. And we have 25 versions. Each version has 2 files inside. For example, this one here, we have volume 51 and volume 52. I'll just quickly take it out for you guys to see how it sort of looks like, the full image. Here what you can see is that they are trying to capture key moments or key characters from the individual volumes. Like for example, here we have Rayleigh, Bonnie, and of course Luffy whacking the Celestial Dragon. And volume 52 we have the 3 captains, Kizaru, Kuma, and Sentomaru. For the back, this is how they look like. I will not take everything out for you guys to see. You can actually see all their images online, but I think we can take a quick trip down memory lane. Volume 53, this is meeting Hancock, going to Impel Down. It's really been a long time ago, isn't it guys? Here we have the 3 Emeralds, Marineford Battle. Oh, this is nice, the yellow one, with Luffy and Ace. This looks good. The fire kind of matches Ace's color theme. Ace's death, post-war, post-time skip, Fishman Island, the crew gathering back, panel. Here we're going to Punk Hazard, some of the battle, Momonosuke. And here we're going to Dressrosa, some of the battles, meeting Sabo, Usopp's face. Quite funny. This is really a trip down the last 50 volumes. And if you really want to get the whole set, I guess it's gonna be quite a challenge. You have to win 25 different versions. Where are we? Whole Cake Island. At Whole Cake Island. Okay, yep. So some of the flashbacks, Karakuri coming up. And we're going into Wano. 92, 93, flashback again, Oden. And that's about it. We end off with volume 100. Nice colorful background they've given the last one. Prize J, we have the Shikishi, or the art bots. And this time round we have 5 variants that form up that piece of artwork done by Oda. So we have 5 different versions that you can get, and we just take them out now. This is how the individual pieces look like. I believe the quality and standard is the same as before. The thickness is kind of like cardboard, so it is very solid. And this time around I think the printing, the coloring, they've captured that well. It looks good, it looks clean and crisp. The pieces all look amazing individually as displays, and I'm pretty sure it will look awesome behind some of your figures if you want to display them that way. And if you're thinking whether or not they can actually match up to form one big piece, it is not entirely possible because of the way they overlap. So for example, like here you can see that there's obviously a border over there, a golden border, and the way they've cropped the images, the heights are also different between the different pieces. If you really want to, I think you can sort of still do it, but ultimately I think they function best individually. I think for other pieces like this one, it is more obvious between these two pieces, how they overlap. You can see in the middle here we have two puddings. In this case, if you really want it to match up, I think maybe it should be like this, so the connection is much more accurate. Okay, and the last one is this one over here. Looks great as well. Some of the legendary characters like Buggy, Blackbeard, Shanks, Garb, Carrot. All in all, the artboards are really cool and they offer an alternative for you to own that image drawn by Oda. Price I, we have the commemorative plates, and even though the boxes show Law at the top, they are all not the same. We actually have 12 versions, so it's totally random what you get inside, and I'm gonna show you how they look like and who they are. There we go, 12 different versions, 12 characters. We have Katakuri, Perona, Chopper, Mako, Sanji, Law, Vivi, Corazon, Oden, Usopp, Hancock, and Sabo. All of these plates are 10 cm in diameter, and the weight is quite substantial because it's real porcelain probably. The design of the artwork is kind of like color painting, really nice. And you can really use this for anything that you want, as a plate, as a coaster, or even just for decorative purposes. Just putting them somewhere or next to your figures, they will look great as well. For price A, essentially we have the full artboard for Oda's drawing. The whole thing coming in one piece. And this is the packaging. Even the packaging, the box looks really cool with some of the waves drawing done on it. And supposedly it opens up, so we can probably see some folding going on when we take it out later. And I'll just quickly show you guys the back, the series name, and what we're gonna get inside. If you look closely, you can also see a lot of Jolly Rogers and organizations, logos, symbols all across the board, like the Marines, Law Pirates, Whitebeard Pirates. So I think that is a really cool touch they have added. And I'll just quickly show you guys the back. World Government over here, for example. This is how the artboard looks like when opened up. It is absolutely massive and long. I have to move the camera back so much so I can fit most of them in the shots. And even then, it is not fully stretched out and flat. I still have to angle it around the bends over here. But I apologize for that. This is my limit. And all I can say when looking at this is that it is just incredible to view the artwork in its entirety in front of you. This amazing piece of art done by Oda, absolutely beautiful, and I think a lot of us would really want this somewhere in their home or part of their display. Honestly, I think it will function really well as a background display for your figures, or even for the figures in this Kuji set. Just line it all up in front together, and with this at the back, it is perfect. View of the artboard from end to end, just to give you guys an idea of how it looks like when flattened out. I apologize that this is the best I can do with my limited space. We are moving on to the figure prices, but before that I just want to show you guys that the back of the boxes also form up the artwork done by Oda. So again, this is another way you can sort of get this art displayed somewhere in your collection, on your shelf or somewhere where you keep your boxes, and it looks really cool, to be honest. We will start off the figures with price B, which is our Captain Monkey D. Luffy. Luffy comes in a number of parts. We have the base, we have the figure itself, and we also have these acrylic panels that act as the background of the figure. And I think it will be the same for all the figures we are talking about today, because ultimately they are trying to recreate the artwork done by Oda, and when you line that up together in its entirety, you are able to see the whole work. We also have a note here that tells you how to put the pieces together, but I think it is fairly straightforward. This is how the figure looks like when put together, and it is entirely up to you how you want to display him as well as the other figures in this series. You can totally remove the acrylic background if you want to, there's no loss, and what you're gonna get is just an empty groove at the back, but that is not visible, it's not gonna be an eyesore to your display. And for Luffy himself, I think overall he is a very decent figure. The face is alright, the muscle sculpts are there with the scar, and I think the most eye-catching, the most attractive part of this figure is the base. I think that is quite unique with the gold and jewelry, and also the color transition on his haki arm, that is done well. Details on his head and his hat are not bad too. The dynamism of his pose and the movement of his coat around his body also gives the figure more life. The height of this figure from the bottom of the base to the top of his arm, that is around 19 cm, 7.5 inches. If I were to just look at his actual body, that is more around 15 cm, around 6 inches from his feet to his head. Next, we have Price C Trafalgar D Water Law in his Onigashima outfit. For Law, we also have several pieces like his body, the background, his sword, the base, and we also have the piece of paper that instructs you on how to put the figure together. This is how Law looks like when put together, and I can say his pose is also quite dynamic, with him walking forward and his left hand using his devil powers, the other hand holding his sword. The details are fairly decent overall. Facial features are quite distinct, especially around the eyes, with the beard. And for his clothing, the creases and folds, they are all there. The back of his coat is also moving, so to give it life, give it motion, and they added significant shading and shadowing to it just to give more depth to the colors. His tattoos are well done, and the sword has all the details that it requires with a bit of metallic gloss in certain areas. There is one area I'm curious about with the color of the leopard prints on the hats and the pants. They do seem to be a lot lighter than usual. Usually it's kind of black or dark brown, but this time it is much lighter. So I'm not sure if that is close to the source material with how Oda draws it or how it appears in anime. I think you guys can help me check that out. The planks that he's standing on are fairly simplistic in details and most likely hollow. You can sort of hear it when you hit it. For the acrylic background at the back, there's nothing much I want to sound off on. I think it does what it does. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of his head, that is around 16.5 cm, around 6.5 inches. If I just take his feet to the top of his head, that will be 13 cm, a little bit more than 5 inches. Price D, we have one of our brothers trio, Portgas D Ace. For Ace, surprisingly, he comes connected to the base in one piece. And again, we have the background, the acrylic background panels, and we also have the instruction on how to put Ace together. This is how he looks like, and overall he is a fairly decent figure. When it comes to sculpting, I think when you look at the muscles on his body, those are done well. With the creases on the pants as usual. Facial likeness, to me he looks a bit more like a cute version of Ace, so it depends if you like that or not. The hair sculpt, the hat details are okay. The tattoo on his left arm and the tattoo on his back, those are there. The best part of this figure is probably the flames coming out from his arm and his leg, how the effects are positioned to be as realistic as possible as how flames will move. And if you look closely on the surface of the effects themselves, some parts are glossy and some parts are matte. I believe those are intentional to show the randomness of fire and flames. It definitely gives the flames a bit of depth. The wooden flooring that Ace is standing on is very similar to the one on Law, so I will not expand on that. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of his head, that is around 14.5 cm, around 5.75 inches. If you're just talking about from his feet to the head, that is much closer to 12 cm. Closer to 4.75 inches. Price E, we have Boa Hancock in a different outfit, a different look. For Hancock, the pieces are like this. We have the body, the base, and the acrylic background, and also the instruction sheet. And this is how Hancock looks like. She's kind of leaning backwards, and her arm using her devil fruit powers aiming forward. Overall, the details are fairly in line with the rest of the figures we have seen so far. I like her character likeness here. I think this is so far the best out of the four. Details on the hair are great, very clean finishing. We have those golden earrings. For her body, you're definitely gonna see the amazing curvature around the chest and also the creases that surrounds some of her curves. The design on this white outfit is also very clean. We have this area with the gold accessories attached, and that is painted nicely. And the rest of it with the Jolly Roger, those are very clean, I must say. Definitely better than some of the others we have seen before. The high slit of her dress revealing her sexy legs as usual. The heart effect is alright, I guess, translucent. It would be great if they could have expanded it a bit to just show the wave traveling. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of her head, that is 21 cm, 8 1/4 inches. If you're just talking about her height, that is around 18.5 cm, 7 1/4 inches. Price F, we have another one of our brothers trio, the second in command of the Revolutionary Army, Sabo. Sabo comes in a few more pieces due to his weapon coming in extra parts, but we have the base similar to what we've seen before, and we have the background as well as the instructions. This is how he looks like, and similar to Ace, he actually has a very cutish look when it comes to the face. So again, that depends whether or not you like that. And the details wise, definitely we can see more here, especially around his coat, his shirt and his pants with the creases and folds. And we also have those bronze buttons on his shirt with the painting, and also the belt. A bit of metallic paint on his goggles and some faint shading around the edges of his hat. There's also some shading on the back of the coat. His metal pipe weapon is fairly decent with some flames popping out towards the bottom. The same flames are coming up from his left knee, his left fist. And overall, the flames design are also quite similar to the one on Ace, but not as extravagant, not as massive. Towards the edges of the effects, they also gave a bit more of a shine, whereas the other parts are matte, similar to the one on Ace. Overall, the positioning of the flame effects does give the figure a lot of motion. I also like the coloring done on Sabo's boots and gloves here, definitely allows you to see and feel a bit of texturing. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of his head, that is 16 cm, around 6 1/4 inches. And if you're just talking about feet to the head, that will be 13.5 cm, around 5 1/4 inches. Price G, and I believe this is highly anticipated. It is the Sulong form Carrot, and I can't wait to see how she looks like. These are all the pieces of Carrot, and here you can see a very significant support coming up from the base for Carrot, and we also have the instructions here. I gotta say, when I first take her out, by holding her, I can tell that she is different from the rest, with her weight much more substantial. There you go, Sulong form Carrot, and wow, all I can say is wow. This form Carrot, she looks amazing. And what I really like about this figure is really the volume, the motion of her jumping forward, and that is accentuated by the hair mass that she has around here. Her thick hair just flowing backwards towards the middle section, and we also have the tail coming out, almost extending to the end of her legs. So that movement really gives off that quick effect of her leaping forward, and I can feel that from the sculpt. On top of that, details on her face are incredible. I like that serious, a bit murderous look. Her bunny ears are cute, no question about that. And if you look at the figure, there's a lot of shading going on around the hair, even the clothing, the ribbons. It feels to me that they definitely spend a bit more time here. It could be because it's the first time they do Sulong form, so they're more motivated. Her body is great, it is the right proportions. I'm sure most of you will be happy. And the clothing with the creases, those are done well, showing what it needs to show. They definitely went far and beyond by showing some better damage on Carrot's skin, and some other creases here and there. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top, that is around 16.5 cm, around 6.5 inches. It is a bit difficult for me to judge her length, her height, but it looks to me to be about 17 cm, around 6 3/4 inches. Price H, we have another Ichiban Kuji Yamato figure, and honestly, I wouldn't complain. It's good to have more figures of her. Yamato comes in more pieces than some of the rest, mainly due to her weapon and an extra panel. This is how Yamato looks like, and she's a bit special. She has an extra panel at the front featuring Karakuri, so it might look a bit weird, a bit out of place compared to the rest, but they have to get the panel of him in as well. And for Yamato, I think this is also another fantastic figure. Her character likeness is on point. I think it is almost 100% as what we see in the source material. She's kind of like opening her mouth and shouting her move. Colors on her hair are great. Transition from white to teal to aqua and dark blue. Colors on her horns are not bad as well. There's also color transition from orange to dark red. Her outfit is generally quite decent, and we also get some shading around the red part, the bottom part of the skirt. You get a really good view of her chest on the right, so I think you guys will like that. And at the back, we also have the robe that she wears, and those details like the thread lines, those individual grooves, those are sculpted well. And even towards the end of the robes, you can see a bit of rough texturing they added. Her weapon has a sweet metallic shine on it, and we also have some rough texturing to show the surface of the weapon to sort of mimic the actual material of what it is supposed to be. Unfortunately, there's nothing to see underneath her skirts. All you get are her legs and her sandals. Overall, I really like this Yamato figure. I feel that she is very well-rounded. Great pose, great character likeness, and decent details. The height of this figure from the bottom to the top of her head, that is around 20.5 cm, all the way to the horns, about 8 inches. If you're just taking from her feet to the top of her head, that will be 18.5 cm, around 7.25 inches. This is the last price version of the full art board. And this time around, even for the box, the color theme is different. Previously we have blue, but now we generally have black, and for the waves here is more like gold color. Wow guys, the last one version is on an entirely new level. Just by putting my hands on this, feeling it, I can tell that the quality of this is a lot higher than the price A. It feels very expensive, and of course the colors, black and gold, makes it more amazing. And if you really look closely, the gold color, they are actually done in such a manner, it's more like a foil, so it reflects light of it. It looks incredible in real life. And even for the Jolly Rogers, the logos, they also have a bit of reflection, as you can see. So overall, the quality, the material used, and the design, it is just top class. I wish I could keep this because it is just so good. On the inside, it is also done differently to price A. For the printing, they've done it in such a way that it actually has a bit of a mirror, glossy, reflective effect, and it makes it look more expensive, and at the same time, it gives more depth to the artwork, to the printing. Whereas price A is more of a matte surface, so it gives off a different feel to it. The colors are captured well, no issues with that, and really this just makes this piece of artwork, already amazing piece of artwork, even more incredible. I will try to give you guys a good view of the art board, but I don't think I am able to do it justice by showing you the shine and gloss on the surface. But hopefully you get to sort of see the whole big picture when it is flattened out. Alright, to round it off, I have all the figures in front of the art board, and as a display, this is as good as it gets. It looks absolutely incredible, and for me it is so interesting because I rarely have the chance to look at the whole set of Ichiban Kuji figures like this, all together in one lineup. So honestly, this is a sight to take in. Okay, as usual, let me know what you guys think in the comments section below, which prizes you want to get. Doesn't have to be the figures, could be the small prizes as well. And if you like my video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, share it with your friends. If you're new here, you like what I'm doing, don't forget to subscribe and also hit the bell notifications button so you don't miss out on new videos like this. Thank you guys so much for spending your time with me. I will see you very soon. Goodbye.